What's going on, everyone? Kelly Cavallero here, one half of 7 Arrow Media, and welcome to today's edition of the Honky Tonk Highway, episode 39. We've made it almost to 40. Thank you, everyone, so far who's tuning in and enjoying the shows. Um, if you haven't yet, please like, subscribe, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. We are live currently on both YouTube and Facebook. That way you can watch it wherever you prefer, and you're not forced to get on Facebook. Today's guest, really a guy that needs no introduction lately. He is from Sweden. You might have met him at Windy City a time or two. He's been to Indie Dance Explosion, event director, choreographer, dance instructor, all the way from Sweden. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Jonas Dahlgren. What up, bud?
Hey, buddy.
How
So
you been?
cool. I've been good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, bro. For those out there that don't know who you are, why don't you give us a little backstory on how you got into dancing?
Oh, wow. Many years. 1998.
It's a good
Uh,
year.
that was a good year. I was 8 years old,
I
turning
graduated
nine.
high school that year.
Oh, shit. You're old, man. I thought you were like my age. All right.
Wow.
Well, fair enough. That's good to know. But yeah, I started when I was 8. It was my grandma's brother and his daughter, and his daughter is the same age as me. They were doing line dancing since a couple of years, and they asked the whole family to come and try out, see what it was. So my mom said, "Oh, do you want to come with me?" And blah blah, and the whole family went. Everybody stopped
Nice.
after the first time, yeah, but I continued. I thought it was amazing. It was something new. It was not football. It was not sports in that kind. It was something else. Because usually what kids did in my age back then was football or ice hockey or whatever,
Right.
like in Canada. So what happened after 2 months, I started with the children classes because I was 8 years old. I was really small. Um, I didn't want to go home, so I stayed for the beginner class after, and I stayed for the intermediate class. I didn't want to go home, so I
There you
started
go.
at 6 o'clock in the afternoon, and I went back home around 9 because my mom was waiting for 1.5 hours because I didn't want to go home. So after 1 year, I was there 4 times a week. So I was very quickly introduced to the competition training. So the trainer in the club asked me, "Do you want to try it?" I said, "Why not?" So after 4 months, after 4 months I've been dancing, I did my first competition in Sweden.
Nice.
Yeah, that was an interesting time. That was something new. First time I hear English. First time I saw Roy Verdonk and all the guys.
Oh wow. So what's it been like going from the competition scene to the social scene?
Oh wow, it's the same dance, but you ask everyone the same question. I would say it's the same thing, tomato tomato, but the different thing is that most of the competition dancers in my organization, World CDF, I won't speak for UC or Masters, is that they don't go to regular classes every week, so they don't know what's on the top of the charts.
Right.
Uh, what happens? We do dance the same dance sport, the same dance style, but they don't know in the competition world what we do in the social world. So it's
Okay.
two worlds the same.
Right.
But what I learned when I came into the social world, that wow, that was that was about 16 years after I started line dancing when I started to understand what is the social world. It was already my life line dance, but I didn't have a clue what this was.
Awesome.
But it's yeah.
So I know you competed World CDF, but you've also come over and competed in the UCWDC. Because I know you came over to Indie Dance Explosion. What was like to have to deal with the differences in the organizations, having to learn the different stuff?
Ooh, um, to be honest, what I like with the UC, I don't know so much about masters yet, but because what happened when the breakup was back in the days, I don't know all the history,
Mm-hmm.
but they had the same rules in the beginning.
Right.
But what I know they focus on in both UC and in World CDF is that they go from the feet and up. So everything is about technique, and then the show comes after that. So what comes from your feet continues to your body and you extend with your arms. So you have a natural flow in everything you do. And that's what you judge for in UC and what you judge for in World CDF.
Okay.
That was a very short version of what did you judge on, but yeah.
So you now are an event director.
Yeah.
You have an event. It's supposed to be happening in person in Sweden this weekend coming up.
Yeah.
But due to this nice pandemic, it's not. You're doing it online. Tell us how that all started. How did you get into wanting to have an event?
So the short version, I moved to France for 3 years, and I came back. I realized that it was well. I started this interview with telling you that I started when I was 8 years old.
Mm-hmm.
With that said, it was over 2,500 dancers in my town.
Oh, wow.
So of 110,000 people, 2,500 was actually dancing, line dancing. We had over 400 people that did competition. So they were buses going everywhere to travel everywhere in Europe for my club.
Wow.
When I came back home, and several years later, it was 35 active dancers in my town. Yeah. And in the middle of the time, well, in the beginning when I moved there, that's when I started to get around teaching and traveling the world and see what amazing social world we have out there and how the events actually build it up. Because as you know, I come from the competition world.
Right.
I could quickly see the differences between the two worlds, how the event is built up. So when I came back home, I realized, okay, it's 35 dancers here out of 2,500. I have to do something. So I started to open up a club. And within a year, we had over 120 people, which is fantastic. So it's still going up. Well, it went down, boom, with the corona, but it's coming up again. But that's all of those travels, including like Chicago, and see what amazing events you can do. Why I started the You and Me Liners Festival was because I said, we miss something in Sweden. We miss something in Scandinavia that has a special touch, because the amazing events that already is in Sweden and Scandinavia, they don't have the knowledge and they haven't seen the worldwide social events.
Nice. And obviously, you're still holding the event. You're just going to do it this weekend digitally.
Yes, sir.
Starts tomorrow, correct?
Yes, I hope so. You know that because you're going to be in it.
Yes, I know. I was lucky enough. I was very fortunate that Jonas and Johanna asked me to teach this weekend now that they're doing digitally. So I'll be teaching Saturday. There's still time to sign up, guys. You can still go to their link and sign up and get into their Facebook group so you can come and enjoy and party with us all weekend. Should be a fun time. I'm looking forward to it.
It's going to be amazing. It's going to be a little bit different because we have other ones. We have Rachel's dancing weekends. We have other ones. We try to make it a little bit different, but it's some to don't, because we're not experts on how to do things digitally. We learn as we go. But we're going to have a little extra touch that's going to bring the You and Me into it. So the people that signs up, it's going to close the site, what do you call it in English? The registration is going to close around noon, 1 o'clock tomorrow, CET. So if you want to come in and dance, it's 14 choreographers from everywhere from the world. And we have interviews. You know yourself, you did a really good interview there.
We did video interviews we sent in and some social dances. For those noon CET, 6 a.m. here on the East Coast in the U.S., so bright and early tomorrow. If you want to register before 6 a.m. Eastern time tomorrow. Annika, I believe, just shared the Facebook link to the event.
Thank you, Annika. She's also our webmaster.
So
for the original event.
So that should be it should be a real fun time.
We're looking forward to it. We are ready to rumble. But I haven't slept for 2 weeks, but that's another thing to make everything happen, because I have to learn everything from the basics. But
yeah, I honestly don't know if you, just be straight up, I don't know if he has slept, because all of a sudden I'll be getting off of playing Fortnite with Daniel at like 11 o'clock my time, so 4 o'clock in England, which is 5 o'clock for Jonas in the morning in them. I'm 11 o'clock. And then all of a sudden at midnight rolls around and my WhatsApp is going off from Jonas sending me messages. I'm like, yo, it's 6 o'clock there in the morning. Go to bed. Because I know you, it's not like you're getting up here at 6 o'clock in the morning and talking to me. You haven't gone to bed yet.
That's why, because I want to do it good. I want to do it, put my heart, full of my heart into it, because it's for the dancers. And I don't want to do something that is half-hearted. We say half-hearted. I want to do it 100%.
Right.
So next week I'm gonna sleep the whole week. So you're not gonna have a message from me next week.
Johanna's probably really looking forward to that. A whole week of sleep.
Trust me. We were looking at tickets to fly out from here to find something warm, but as you know, guys, we cannot do anything. So we're thinking about renting a trailer, like a house wagon thingy, and
camper.
A camper. Go somewhere and just
then she's still confined with you in this little space for a week. She might be ready to kill you after Sunday.
Actually, we talked about this last week, and she's just sitting next to me, and she's like, "What? No way!" Bless her. She's used to have me away every weekend, every single weekend.
Yep.
And since the corona started, I've been home the whole time. And
yep.
I think all the guys that usually travels knows how it is to stay at home with your girlfriend.
Oh, yeah. Kelly's ready for me to have a dance event to get me back out of the house. She's like, come on, please, someone take a floor somewhere. Chris wants to know who thought up the name You and Me.
Oh, You and Me. We started, actually, it's the 4th year we have the event, and it started actually 5 years ago. Because we have a lot of small clubs around the area, not in our city, and we had a one-day event, and we call it You and Me, because the city where we live is called Umeå. Umeå, and back in the days it's spelled U-M-E. Umeå. So what happens? You and me,
right?
Which is perfect because it brings everything together. It's you and me. We're having a good time. The only problem was that 2 years ago they opened up a hotel here called You and Me Hotel. So, but the good thing that we already registered the name, so they couldn't steal it from us.
There you go.
And the bad thing was that we didn't license it, or how you call it, because then we could have earned a lot of money if they stole it. But
you could have sold the website rights for a pretty good chunk. At least here, yeah.
That's true. At least in America.
Right. Darren said he loved going to that place. He has really good memories of going out to your hometown.
He's been there plenty of time. So he was helping me. When I was 9, 10, he was coming to me many times with Roy, mostly. And we had a trio. So the first time I went to America for the World Championships in Nashville, they were training us 3 guys for a trio for a show.
Yep.
So I think they were here 3 times that year to teach us the routine, make sure everything is good. They made all the music. So we had, I got to know Darren and Roy very early back in the days. That was good times, Darren.
Awesome. So what's been your favorite social dance you choreographed?
I usually love them and then I get tired of them. Probably like everybody else, because if you dance a lot on the floor, you're like, oh, not that one again. But what happens when they have faded away for a while and they come back on the floor and you haven't danced for half a year, right. Then it gets, because Groovy Love?
Yeah.
Imagine yourself, you're traveling every weekend. I love the dance. Now I love it again because I haven't danced it for a while. But every weekend they play it 4 to 5 times. And of course, when you're there, usually it's only me that is at events or another choreographer. But they play it so many times. And you come home, the only thing you hear is the song in your head. Yeah.
There you go. So, you've choreographed with a good chunk of people. Went a little bit over your list on Copper Knob of all the people you've co-choreographed with. Who's on your bucket list that you haven't got to co-choreograph yet that you would like to?
There's a lot of people in that list, but it's not about co-choreographing with people. It's more that it's being helping me to learn how to choreograph in the beginning. That's why I have co-choreographed with a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned a lot during the road, to become who I am today. And I always see when I choreographed, not always, but most of the times, can I learn something from this? That's why I want to do it with certain people. And as many people have said, one of your guests is like Jo Thompson is an amazing woman. I've been at her home. The whole way she thinks about dancing, only when we start talking, that makes me get, how do you call it, excited to learn more. And she's not a competition dancer. She couldn't help me with that. Probably she could, but she lives in America. But maybe one day in the future, me and Jo can do something together. And you and I have done one dance back in the days. We were in Detroit.
We were in Detroit. I don't even remember if we submitted it to Copper Knob.
I don't know. Maybe some people knows.
Nope, it's not. I'm looking at the Copper Knob right now because I think we named it Ghost in the Guitar, right?
Ghost in the Guitar. That's true.
Yep, it's not on Copper Knob. We never did. Oopsie.
So the people that want us to post, it's a really nice country track.
It is. Keith Urban. Yes.
Keith Urban, one small restart, I think it is. That's it.
Yeah.
32 counts.
So, yeah, that was fun. We did that randomly in Motor City a couple years ago when you were there. That was fun. So, do you miss competing?
I do. In both yes and no. What I do like with not competing is that I don't have to practice. How do you say that in a good way? Because usually when you do competition and you have 2 months between competitions, you are working every week for that next competition. And what happens when I started to do the social scene is that I travel every weekend. So the slots when I usually practice, I'm away dancing and socially. So for the course of my profession today, it was not possible to continue with the competition, but I do miss it because it's a world that I grew up with that is always going to beat in my heart.
Awesome. Any chance, any plans for you to go back to it anytime soon?
After the UME event, I can do whatever. I have so much time this weekend. No, it's good. I do actually, but what I do want to try out, because I started with UCWDC when I was small, from 98 to 2006 when the split up were, and then I done World CDF since, and I done one competition for the UC when I was in the city in the Dance Explosion, and I've done one master in France when I lived there. So what I think after all these years in one organization, it would be good for me now, 31 years old, to go to try do competition in another organization.
Right.
One, you have new eyes looking at you, which means you have new judges.
Yep.
It's not the same judges that have seen you for 25 years. And you get new people that you dance with on the dance floor. And that's something I've been missing for a long time. Especially, you're a guy, you've been doing competition. What happens when the guy's competition is 2, 3, 4, 5 people maximum.
Right.
And then you see the girls in the open division, it's like 25, 30.
Right.
Prelims and all that. So when you have the same guys that you grew up with, you want to go out and see what's more out there to learn.
Makes sense. Chris wants to know, what was the last competition you did?
Oh, hold on. Johanna, min sista tävling, när var det? That was Worlds 2016 or 17. 18. Worlds 2018 was my last competition.
Good thing we have the human encyclopedia next to him.
Yeah. She's sitting there. She's watching actually the live stream on
the TV.
Yeah.
Also, it wasn't totally that long ago. 2018 wasn't that bad.
No, but when you stop competing, you stop work. Well, for me, because you're traveling a lot, what I do miss with that is that I usually work out a lot.
Right.
And that's something I miss, and that's why I want to next year, when everything starts again, I want to get back on track. And that's because then I get motivated to go out running, keep myself. Of course, I do some running, but still I miss the big part with when I'm looking forward to train my body for something. Are you with me?
Yep, I'm totally with you. Trust me. Um, so have things started opening up already back there where you can go back to teaching in person?
We started actually 3 weeks ago. But
Nice.
yeah, Sweden is not like all the rest of the countries, as you've probably seen in newspapers as well. To make a long story short again, Sweden don't do rules. They make recommendations. So the only rule that we were not allowed to have events more than 50 people, like football and everything. Football Linus Festival that we are supposed to have this weekend. Um, so what happening now? It's been how can you say it? You're not allowed. Well, the recommendation is if you dance
Right.
couple dancing, you're not allowed to do the classes. They say to all the clubs, stop your teaching. You cannot touch each other. But line dance is a perfect way to dance
Right.
because you don't have to touch someone, and as long as you have a big hole, you're outside, and make sure that you follow the recommendations that 1.5 meters apart.
Mm-hmm.
It's no worries. So that's the good thing now. That's why we can start. And after usually when you do this every day and then it goes boom, and
Right.
it's nothing, no dancing. So we were so happy when we were allowed to start again. So even though it's not everyone dancing because people still, mostly the older people staying at home,
Right.
but still from 130, we almost 70 people now that comes every week.
That's
So
good.
we're getting there week by week, but step by step. Well, we have to respect the flu or the corona. We have to respect it
Right.
and take care of ourselves and make sure to stay home when you're sick. But we are getting back on track.
Awesome. Awesome. When's it looking like the next possibility of you getting to travel?
Uh, Everybody else in Europe is opening up their borders for every country to come, except for what I believe Sweden and UK. So everyone in Europe can travel besides us.
Wow. Well, we can go within the U.S. We just can't travel internationally right now. Like we can go to any of the states. We just can't travel.
That's awesome. That's good for you guys. Finally.
Oh yeah.
But did you?
We never
But you
our
always.
we've always been able to go state to state. They just asked there's certain states that if we come from, like if New York, I think it was New York, Connecticut, New Jersey area, and Louisiana. Um, if we came back to like to Florida, that they asked us to quarantine for 2 weeks if we came from those high risk states.
Yeah.
So, but that's really it. Like, people have still been traveling for work. Our airlines are still flying just with limited flights. Flights are super cheap right now for the most part. We could get really cheap flights within the U.S.
Good for you guys. Say like a flight from Stockholm to Umeå, where I live.
Yep.
It's usually like $50. Now it's like $250.
No, see, like I looked the other day. I could have went to visit JP Maj in Switzerland for like 270 round trip, U.S. dollars.
Say,
If we were
well,
allowed to fly right now. The problem is we can book it, but we couldn't fly there right now.
but it still sell tickets.
Oh yeah, we can buy a ticket. Like if I could have went and bought a ticket to England for Masters, and it would just got refunded to me if I went to cancel it. So we could have bought our tickets to Masters, but with it canceling, we didn't buy them at the last, so we wanted to wait.
Makes sense.
So, but yeah, we just
But
can't travel.
travel to Bahamas or something now.
No, we
Take care
can't.
of yourself.
I don't think we can technically go there.
But Bahamas, is that America?
It is, but I think we still have to with the flying. I'm not sure if we can even get there. I haven't tried.
But for now, you're working from home. So when you come back from Bahamas, you
Right.
can still self quarantine for 2 weeks. You're fine, which is good.
Yeah, I'm hoping it opened up soon. I'm still praying for the experience happens the second weekend of September. Fingers crossed. That looks like it might be the next dance event we get over here.
Are
So,
you doing the floors and everything there as well?
supposed to. Yep, I do the floors. I DJ. I get to give Big Dave breaks for Diane and Sandy. So yeah, we get to go to Nashville The event technically doesn't start till like 3 or 4 days after Labor Day, but we usually get there on Labor Day because we come from a different event. So we get about a week in Nashville.
That's nice.
So,
but probably now it's not going to be any concerts going on.
Well, by then it might. September might have some stuff. Like Big Jim said, yes, I could take it. The Honky Tonk Highway live from the Bahamas. Tropical week. I could start being like Wheel of Fortune. Do the shows on location. Have like a tropical week. Have a snow week.
Well, if it costs you like $25 to travel everywhere in America, do it.
Yeah, and then finding the hotels. The flights aren't the problem right now. It's the finding the hotels because now the hotels are now just starting to open up more.
And I heard they open up Las Vegas as well.
As of Tim Perez, I had on yesterday, said midnight last night. Yep. So they opened up Las Vegas to 50% capacity. So by November, I think we're going to be good. That's when the Vegas Dance Explosion is this year. I think it was going to be good. And like Jonathan said, yes, let's hope Chicago goes. I think by October, I think we're still going to be good. Jonathan did just have a nice question. What is your favorite event? Not including your own. You're not allowed to pick your own.
Every event is very different. For me, it's about, because when you come to an event the first time, you always, you get excited. You don't know the people and everything. I can tell you that when I came home from Chicago the first year, I slept for 2 weeks.
You didn't sleep there.
No, that's true also. But, the first time I was in America, I was 14 years old, 13, 14, something like that. And the second time was Chicago. And the people that has been in Chicago, they know how intensive it can be. And all these people, and what I thought was a social event, because, when I traveled in France, Germany, it can be 150 people at times, and that's a big event. Normally it's like 40 to 70. And boom, you have that event. So first time I was really scared to go back. I was like, did I do good enough? Everything was new. I didn't know the dances. I was there on the social scene at nights, the open dance floor. And they only play dance I didn't know. Usually I can dance every dance. Came to America, I didn't know nothing. So when I came home, I was like, I don't know if I'm good enough for this. But the second year, when I could melt it, came back, I would say Chicago is one of my best events, because now I kind of feel I know the hotel. I start to know you guys from America. I feel comfortable in my own skin.
Yep.
And I can start to handle that atmosphere.
Yeah, Chicago's a fun time. Great food, amazing city. Just all good time. And yeah, I'm sure that was a culture shock the first time you walk in and there was that many people. You're used to like 70, 80 people, and you walk in and I think we had 60 of us the night before at the bowling alley when I met you at the pre-party. I think we had that many people bowling that year.
There you go. There you go. But second year, I love it because that event, it happened, when I melted it down, that's the best thing. And same thing when I went to in Indianapolis for the Indie Dance X. That was different though, because it was competition and finance. A little bit different, but same crowd, same mentality, so different.
Correct.
But I do enjoy a lot the American events, but especially Chicago. It's my 5th year, I think I go there this year.
Yeah, like
Jonathan. And as Jonathan says, cross our fingers. It's gonna.
I think by October we're going to be good. I think it's going to be fine by then, and I don't foresee them not opening the borders by then. That should be a no-brainer. And like Jonathan said, the Hofbräu House, yes.
The Hofbräu House. Oh my God! Have you been there Friday night?
I've been there many times. Jonathan, if you like the Hofbräu House, you need to come visit me in Orlando. There's an amazing German restaurant called Hollaback Willow Tree. We go there all the time. Oh yeah, amazing food. Amazing food. What events on your bucket list that you haven't got to that you would love to go to?
That's a good question. That's a lot as well. Do you know how many events it is per year everywhere in the world?
Oh, yeah, I'm aware because I have quite a few on my bucket list.
I know.
So I know.
So I would, it's parts of the world that I haven't seen. It's part of people that I don't get to meet so much that I want to see. But because I live in the far north of Sweden.
Hmm.
In French, you say "trou du cul du monde," but I won't translate that in English. World's end. We can call it the world's end in
Okay.
English. Which means that it's hard for me to get everywhere because usually, if you see Daniel or JP or you, well, especially people that like Darren when he lived in England, it's one flight, boom, you're there. For me, it's always three flights.
Oof.
Umeå to Stockholm, Stockholm to say Paris. That's good. That's three flights. Well, two flights. But if I have to go to Marseille, south of France, it's four flights. And if I want to go to Australia, that's probably six flights or five. But for me to get there, it takes twice as long. But for answering your question, I know some events that I want to go, but I don't know the people that runs them. I don't know if it's a good event. I know there's an event in Australia. I know it's an event like Jennifer Cameron's event. She has loads of them as well.
Yep.
Why I want to go, for example, to Jennifer because I know her a little bit.
True.
Which means that I know when I come there, I feel safe. I know that
Makes
that
sense.
could be a good. I know she will take care of me. But imagine when you get booked to Shanghai or Shanghai is a good, somewhere that you don't know anyone. That's the most stressful for a choreographer. I think a lot of my colleagues can agree with that. When you come to a big event or somewhere in the world that you've never been, you don't know the people, and the first time, oh, okay, hold on. So in my bucket list, I would say more America. I like it, but I haven't been on that side where you live.
Right.
That's like a totally different world because you said it was cold one day and it was raining, and your girlfriend took a picture. It was like 30 degrees Celsius warm, and it was a little bit rain, and it was palms, and it was so beautiful.
Right.
So I should take a picture and send you in the winter how it looks like here at the time when she sent that.
Yeah, that's I can only imagine. Bonnie wants to know what's your take on the difference between American and European event atmosphere.
That's a good question, Bonnie. In the end of the day, we have the same passion, right? We love to dance. Um, what I would say the difference with American and Europe is that America is always bigger. You always want to make things bigger. Everything is like this.
Mm-hmm.
And in Europe, it's more small and intimate. Like, for example, if you have a theater show and you have 40 people and you close to each other, that's we call it intimacy in
Yep.
Swedish. It's a little bit more, together and we get to know each other. In America, it's more big. So you don't get to know all the people in a weekend, even though because it's the difference between 100 people compared to 600 and up.
Right.
So that my answer to Bonnie is that European event is more easier. Well, how can you say it? It's you get to know more people because you're in
Yeah,
less.
it's a more intimate, more smaller. It's
Yeah.
your events are kind of like what our one day workshops are here. Like our one day workshops are usually between 50 and 100 people, unless they're really massive ones. They might be 150, 200, but that's kind of what you're comparing it to.
Yeah.
So
So they are less, but the funny thing is that Europe is very long.
yes.
But if you look at US, it's like basically the same.
Mm-hmm. True.
So, but you have more people. Like if you look at Sweden, we are 10 million people, but it takes
Ooh.
24 hours to travel from the north to the south. It's a
Crazy.
long country. So if you tilt Sweden from like this on the map, you come all the way down to Sicily in Italy.
Oh.
So as I told you, 10 million people, it takes 24 hours. We have a lot of, that's why I think it's hard for people to travel because
Right.
it's the distance is so much further compared to America, for example.
What was it like getting used to that multiple room atmosphere at like Windy City in Vegas, where you had because I'm pretty sure most European events are more one room based. Everybody's in a room. What was that like adjusting to try to cover all the rooms? Because There's multiple workshops going on, and then at night there's multiple dance rooms. There's multiple dance rooms like at Marathon. When you were at Marathon, there was.
I always go to Jill's room.
There you go.
Because she plays the dances I do know. But it's getting better. I'm getting in there to learn the harder dances. Say the question again.
What was it like? What was it like adjusting to going from your one room atmosphere to like at Vegas and Chicago and at Marathon, the multiple rooms? Because even at not even during the workshops, but even at night, because you have multiple rooms going on at night as well.
You know what? It was an inspiration. Trust me. And if you look at the You and Me, the people that's joined our festival, the You and Me, that we have lower and higher. We have 2 rooms simultaneous. Mm-hmm. Remember that we are about 120 to 150 people during an event, but we still have for the people that's lower level and higher level.
Right.
So simultaneous is 2 rooms. So I would say inspiration. I love it because it makes it positive and negative, yes, because you split people up. You don't have everyone in a bunch mm-hmm. like together. But I think it's nice. It's so different. So, yeah.
Awesome. Huge shout out to my boy Guyton Monday who just joined in the chat. He said, "What's up? What's up, boys?" Guyton says hi. Darren says, he goes, "I remember getting the train from," and I'm going to butcher these names, Jonas, so you're going to have to help me here. Patia to Malmo?
Tia what?
He says, "I remember getting the train from Patia to Malmo."
Piteå to Malmö.
Okay, thank you, because I just butchered that. And he said it took forever.
Trust me, I told you the country's 24 hours. Piteå is in the very north. So to Malmö, that would basically say 18 hours, 19 hours.
Ooh, maybe that's probably about how long it would take me to pronounce those names right. I probably still wouldn't do it.
Piteå, Malmö.
Crazy.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna ask you this question early because you have a different insight on it. I've asked everybody this question: if money was no object, where would you hold an event? And obviously, you already have an event, so you can pick your hometown. But if money was no object, you're like, I'm not picking my hometown. No way.
I don't.
And also, if money was no object, if you and Johanna didn't have a budget, who are the first 5 people you're inviting? Like Guyton said, it takes him 8 hours to get to the bottom of Florida. It does. From Guyton's house in Florida to get all the way to the Keys, it's 8 hours. Because it takes me about 4 hours, 3.5, 4 hours to get from my house to Guyton's.
Wow.
And it's about another 4 hours to get to the end of the Keys. For me.
Well, it's a big country you have as well.
No, that's one
but
state.
Still, you're on the same coast.
That's one state. Right?
That's one state.
That's the state of Florida. And it's probably about another 2 hours north of Guyton to get out of the state. If I had to take a rough guess.
But he usually takes a boat, right?
Sometimes. That's driving, though. That's not taking a boat, which would take longer.
Yeah, but he can enjoy it more.
Well, that's true. We do enjoy it more. All right, so where are you holding the event in the first five places? Like I go, yep.
Okay, first of all, your question was, who would I bring with me if no money was an object?
First 5.
Issue. Object. Yep. Issue.
If money was no object, first 5. First 5 you're calling.
My future wife, Johanna.
Oh, way to get out of the doghouse right off the bat. Nicely played, sir.
I'm a plus now. It's okay. To be honest, for me, it's important to create a good atmosphere at the event. That's the most important.
Right.
And if you look at the circuit right now, the people that's teaching, most of these guys works really good together. And what's important, what I think to build an event is to get a good dynamic. Right? It's hard to say which 5 I would, because I like so many more. And trust me, it's hard. It's hard to say just 5 people. I would say everyone. maybe not everyone, but a lot. For me, as I told you, I like where do you asked me before, where do I want to travel in the world? What's on your bucket list?
Right.
And for me, I'm a Swedish, and Swedish, we do have, how do you say, cojones? We have balls. We can, we're not so scared, but we are more scared than a lot of other people if you compare to like Italy and blah, blah, blah. So what is for me is that it's nice to have people that I feel comfortable around, that I don't have to think we know each other. And it's getting more and more, I get to know so much people since I started doing social. So it's hard to say 5 people. So, and I think the people that I'm thinking about knows who they are as well. Yeah.
He's just going to make us wait.
Yeah. You will see. When money's not an object, you will know.
Of course. Shout out to Willie White Sox. Willie Brown's in the house. Just joining us.
Willie.
Better late than never, Willie. Better late than never. Yes, Jim. Guyton's like, nope, name him. He's like, call him out now. Yes, Jim. All directions from now on are we're going to go to Guyton's house and take another 20-hour drive. So I actually answered this question yesterday. I was proud of myself. JP asked it, and Guyton's like, I had to answer it too. JP asked me during my teach on Streamline yesterday what mine would be and where would we go.
And what was it?
My two item places I would possibly hold it was either Aspen, Colorado, because I've always wanted to learn how to ski, and then Australia, because that's definitely on my one of the 2 places I've always wanted to go. So I definitely want to go there. The 5, and I would. The first one was hands down. First one was Guyton Mundy. I've known him for 20 years. He's my inspiration. He's been my mentor. The guy that I've looked up to in this dance world. So hands down him. And I even said that yesterday on Streamline. Number 2 would be Brian Barakauskas. Same reason. He's one of my best friends, like a brother to me. Number 3, Rob Glover. Who can not have an event without the Liverpool guy? Who can not have an event without Rob Glover? It's just absolutely insane. Number 4, Will Craig. Known him forever. One of my good friends. And then the lady of the group, I got to watch her. And I actually think it was the year you were at Detroit. I saw Joanne Brady teach a 9 a.m. workshop. And hands down, probably the best teach I've ever seen in my life. So the 5th one would be Joanne Brady. So those were my 5. I answered them. Kelly looked at me because when I said Aspen, she goes, I don't do cold weather. She goes, I'm not going to Aspen. So, yeah, love you too, brother. Huge shout out to Guyton. Reason I really started dancing, him and Brian. He was the guy that I danced with 6 nights a week back at the Wild Horse Saloon, and we did some crazy stuff. And then Brian Barakauskas came in one day, and our DJ/dance instructor Haas Martin had him do a solo, and I fell in love in the competition side. And then this crazy guy from Maryland who now lives in Spain named Pedro Machado walked in and invited Guyton. And Guyton went to his first event and came back and goes,
Portugal?
What?
He lives in Portugal, doesn't he?
I believe he's in Spain, yeah.
No, Portugal.
Oh, is he in Portugal now? Oh, yeah, he is in Portugal. I have Spain on the brain because I was talking to Rob Fowler earlier. So I had Spain on the brain. But yeah, so he invited Guyton to an event, and Guyton came back and goes, you got to go to these dance events. And it's just been crazy ever since, and that's been going on 20 years because I'm 40 now, and I turned 21 and celebrated my 21st birthday with Guyton. Can you imagine how crazy night that was? Yeah. So
yeah.
Any plan? Go ahead.
I didn't answer your question full out. You asked me which 5, and
yep.
You asked, I didn't answer where.
You didn't.
Aspen, I probably would say Aspen is amazingly beautiful, but because we have snow 9 months a year, probably don't want to have it somewhere cold.
You're used to snow 9 months a year, aren't you?
Yeah. So, like Germans, they love the snow. They want to come up only for the mooses and the snow. But the problem with the Germans is that they steal all the road signs with moose on it. So it costs a lot of money.
We have those up in Maine and Vermont too.
You do?
Yeah.
The Germans steal them, so beware. I would put it somewhere very south, either Asia or south of Asia, like Thailand, Vietnam, or like Bora Bora if you go to the other side, Bahamas.
There you go.
But the first place I would put it is somewhere, where the pirates come from in the Caribbean. They have these old castles, like fortresses, and inside one of those on an island, that would be, and you have beaches around with the palm trees.
I know a guy who could build you a really good pirate ship.
And is that Gaijin?
He did it for Doug Miranda at Vegas one year.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, he did. The other place I would want to hold it is in Iceland during the Northern Lights.
Well, you can just come to my house and we have the Northern Lights just outside.
Okay, well, you just said you don't want to. You don't want to have an event if we had money was no object.
No, but you're running it. It's your event, so I'm there to support you.
So we're just going to Sweden, okay? Yeah, Kelly keeps saying, "I want to go to Sweden. I want to pet a moose." You do not want to pet a moose. You do not want to pet a moose.
You should talk to Jonathan. He is obsessed with mooses. He
Yeah,
even wanted to bring home moose butter when he left from here last time. Moose butter.
Yes, Connie. He just said since you just live in northern Sweden, he does get to see the Northern Lights from his location. Lucky man. That's that would be a beautiful sight.
It is beautiful, but the thing is that when you've seen it all your life, you don't think about it the same way as you guys are doing it. But that same thing with a palm tree. We don't see that every day. So what we think about when we see palm trees is what you see when you see the Northern Lights.
I can ship you a palm tree if that's what you really want. That or a flamingo. Which one you want?
Not a flamingo, because that can send out messages that's not true. But palm trees, yeah.
Willie says you can see the Northern Lights from Scotland too. Yes, Willie.
Yeah, probably you can in the north.
Yeah, Willie just wants us all to come to Scotland.
Say again?
Willie just wants us everybody to come to Scotland.
Yeah, of course. But Scotland is very beautiful as well. It is.
Willie says that you need to milk the moose yourself. Willie, what are you doing up there in Scotland, brother? What are you thinking? Why?
So can't you see it in front of you? He has a kilt on, and he's, taking milk out of moose. It's not weird.
Nope.
For them, it's not weird. It's called culture.
Crazy. So what's your plans? What's looking like the next event that you looking to get out of the Sweden?
For that, I have to open up my calendar. I've been canceled from about 20 events so far.
Oh,
and that's a lot.
Yeah, I know that pain. Yes, hey, Willie, listen to Darren in the chat. Leave the moose alone. Next thing you're going to know, you're going to get pictures of Willie getting chased by a moose.
So next year when Willie comes to Sweden, we're going to go to a moose farm.
Oh, man.
So we can take a good photos for Darren.
Put him on it. Have him ride the moose. Put his kilt on.
Yeah, we can do that.
Put his kilt on. Have him ride the moose off into the sunset.
Hiya. So next event that I have on is in Sweden.
When?
Third weekend of August, the weekend after my wedding.
Nice.
If that's gonna happen. And then I go to France for a week.
Not too shabby. Yeah. Wendy, you win. It's Wendy says she has palm trees in Maui. We're all going to Maui.
Yep, Maui is.
Maui wins.
Let's go. Actually, the French trip is canceled, so that means the weekend after is in Sweden again. So, but then I'm going to Norway.
Guyton goes, is the wedding or the event canceled?
Well, we don't know. We haven't discussed that yet because we have other things to think about, like the event this weekend.
Right.
But because, as you say, everything is opening up. So even though if we have to cancel the wedding, hopefully not, we can do what do you call it? Engagement party.
Oh, there you
because
go.
we haven't had
Makes
that.
sense.
So we can make it smaller and we can make it more personal.
Makes sense.
Because the list is over 100 people for the big wedding.
Where are you going?
I'm going to grab a charger for my computer. Sorry.
His thing's dying. I'm like, where is he going? It's still light outside. Mind you guys, it's almost midnight where he is, and it's still light outside.
Trust me, it's 9 months of total darkness. The sun goes up for 2 to 3 hours. For 2 to 3 months per year, we have 24 hours of sunlight.
That would drive me nuts. Only 3 hours of sunlight a day. I could not live there.
But we sleep very well during winter.
Ugh. Yeah, I can't. Like, I would love to go to Alaska where it's light all the time. That would be awesome. I can handle that.
You can do that.
I can handle it being light all the time. I'm totally fine with that.
The funny thing, for 2 years ago, for the You and Me festival, when it was here in Umeå, we had about 25 French people. The problem was that they were so tired Saturday morning. And I was like, what's wrong? The sun doesn't go down. So they couldn't sleep for 5 days they were in Sweden because of the light. So I think you have to get used to it.
Yeah, it's like, try it. It's weird, man. I don't know if I can handle only having 3 hours of sunlight a day. That would oof. I don't know. Yeah.
But you get used to it. You need to give it a shot.
Now, see, I can handle it being light out. It's like going to Vegas. You never know what time it is anyway. You just
That's because it's no windows.
Right. You just stay up constantly. It's like going to a dance event. You go to sleep 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning. You get back up at 10 a.m. It's great.
Yep.
So, but thank you so much for joining me. It was a blast getting to chat with you. It's just a drinking
so
party
happy
then.
to be on board and be here with you guys and all of you that's in the chat listening to us.
Yeah, awesome time. Guys, remember, 6 a.m. Eastern tomorrow, noon CET, registration cuts off. Come join us at the You and Me Online Festival. Annika put the link up before. It's only, 25 pounds? Or 25 euros?
25 euros.
25 euros.
It's less than that.
I always get the money mixed up.
Euro is good, but we have kroners. So I was supposed to usually it's kroners.
Okay.
And when we set it up, the payment was PayPal. But the problem is that we started account in Sweden.
Right.
So the first 15 people signed up paid 25 crowns. And that's 2.5 euros. So the currency is very funny. But a good thing, euros, pound, and dollars is basically multiplicate our kroners to 10, and then you have it.
Okay. So yeah, 25 euros for all 3 days, 14 hours of lessons, social dancing interviews. Come party with us online for the weekend. It starts tomorrow afternoon for us here in the States, evening in Sweden. So come check it out. Hope everyone enjoyed the show. We are not going to do a show tomorrow, guys. We're taking the day off from doing the Honky Tonk Highway. We're only doing the 4 this week. Focus on all the stuff for the weekend. I got Jonas's event. You have Rob Fowler's thing on Saturday night. Also, 4:30 UK time, 11:30 here on the East Coast, 5:30 in CET over on Streamline. Join us. Daniel Trapat's getting his beard shaved. Dane McKeever's getting his legs waxed, and Dave Morgan is getting his head shaved. And Daniel Trapat has already said if they raise enough money, he is going to wax his armpits. So come join me. I'm going to be broadcasting that on Streamline. Your host will be none other than the amazing Assumpta Murphy, all the way from Ireland. So come join us for that. Should be a great weekend. We'll be back Monday with more shows. I'll be announcing it this weekend. I can tell you right now, One of them you're definitely not going to miss, but we're going to leave that for a little surprise. I'll announce that probably tomorrow or Saturday. So enjoy the weekend, guys. See you on Monday.